every month. These guys come on and just kind of chill and tell us, just hang out, talk everything bourbon. You guys saw the banner, so you know what we'll be talking about tonight. A few different things, some nerdy things, some stuff to just get into, whatever. So anyway, we got David back with us. And Jim is back with us. And new to the stream is Corey and Heather.
Welcome.
Hello.
So, welcome back, everyone. Glad to be drinking with y'all.
Wait a minute.
Cheers.
Is this Pure Infinity high proof or low proof?
High proof.
Woohoo! Okay. Sorry. Got to check these things out.
So, let's start off with something a little light. And
That is good.
when you go into a store and see bourbon on a shelf, what makes you want to pick up whatever bottle it is? David?
Well, for me, number one, I do a lot of research on bourbon, so I read a lot of reviews on things, and generally, what I'll try and do if there's a bourbon that intrigues me that I've never had before, that's how I found y'all's channel. So when you, for example, when you guys did Joseph Magnus, and it was no burn and all Jesus, I was like, well, I know that one. I know that we have pretty similar flavor profiles, especially.
You mean stuff that's good?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I'm not going to go pick up chicken cock. And I'll go based on recommendations, and then if there's somebody in there that is very knowledgeable about bourbon, they generally have an idea of what I like because I generally go into the same store, and they'll say, "Hey, by the way, we got this. You might want to try it." And if it's a reasonable price, that's generally what I'll do. So,
do you have any stores that kind of know your palate and what you kind of tend to gravitate towards?
Absolutely. Down here in Southern Indiana, there's one particular liquor store that I go to, and I know the manager, and he knows bourbon, and he knows my palate, and he knows what I like. And, he'll recommend
That helps a lot.
to recommend things that I like, and he's not led me astray so far. So knock on wood.
Jim, what about you? Nice shirt, by the way.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, a little bit of the same. You'll hear the reviews or people talking about it, or and you get an idea of who likes what you like. So I'll look for those bottles, and of course, FOMO is a bear because you don't want to miss out. But when I see labels that I haven't seen before and haven't heard anything about it, I'll simply take a look at it. I'm looking at proof. And then, did they distill it or not? And how old is it? So if it's got some age on it, if it's a bottled in bond, I'm going to try it. If it's something that I haven't seen before, I'm going to give it a shot. If it's a cask strength, I'll try it. And even if it's, an MGP product that you obviously can tell because it was distilled in Indiana and bottled in Tennessee, I'll give it a shot as well. So I'm pretty liberal in terms of what I like. I just like to try a lot of different things that are out there, and there's nothing wrong with having another bottle on the shelf.
So David's more reviews, and Jim's more reviews, and kind of what the label says about it. What about you, Corey?
I am completely indiscriminate.
So if it says whiskey, you're going to buy it.
Yeah, pretty much. And especially,
and FOMO. Jim definitely has FOMO.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I feel like out here in California, at least in the Bay Area, you're really on an island. It's so competitive to get all the special bottles. You really have to act quick and know people, and check the unusual spots to find stuff. But really, if you saw my liquor cabinet, which is not really a cabinet, it's just kind of
It's overtaken half of the kitchen. Really.
Wait until it overtakes half the house.
My wife.
No.
I feel your pain, Heather. I
Co-
totally feel your pain.
Costco shelving units are your friend.
They're
Yeah.
amazing, and they actually can hold up. They will hold whatever you put on them.
So I mean, I'm not quite as advanced as some of these gentlemen are, but I probably have about 75 to 80 bottles. I would say probably
Nice.
50
Nice.
of them.
That is a healthy amount.
50
Nice.
of them are probably open.
No. And we just keep opening new ones every day. We're like, ooh, let's try this.
Because
That's how it starts.
yeah.
It's a
because
sane amount. It's a sane amount.
Hey.
JP Miller asked, "What is FOMO?" That is fear of missing out, and it is a bitch. It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
like both David and Jim, I used to buy a lot of stuff just to try new stuff because that's how I am. I always want to try something new. And I was more often than not missing than hitting. And I got tired of spending the money and not hitting. So I think my first foray into the bourbon world was straightbourbon.com, which led me to watching some reviews on YouTube, Bourbon Pursuit. And then I found you guys. And, Kyle has a similar palate to me. I found that a couple of the things that he enjoys, I really enjoy as well. So when you listen to people that enjoy the same things as you do, you can kind of go into the store with the knowledge of finding something that you're really going to enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say I'm a lot like Jim. First of all, FOMO. We all know what that's like. Also, the label. And if I haven't heard about something, so if you guys haven't heard about it, can you grab that green bottle for me? It's a newer distillery. They're doing awesome stuff. Wilderness Trail.
Yeah.
Great people.
They're doing some really cool stuff. So this one doesn't say the age, I don't think. But even if I didn't know what this is and I hadn't tasted it before, distilled, aged, and bottled by Wilderness Trail. So they're making it themselves.
Yeah.
Nice.
If it's coming from MGP, I'm usually cool with that.
Yeah.
Non-chill filtered. And it is a single barrel and at 114 proof.
Nice.
And
It was right around $50.
it's
Mhm.
also a sweet mash, not a sour mash,
Yes.
which I find
So, which is a much more costly
absolutely.
process for sure. So it's barrel proof, 56% rye, 33% corn, 11% malted barley.
Wow.
And it's put into the barrel at 100 proof, which is also much more costly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that to me says they're doing everything right so far. You know what I mean? For $50, even if I hadn't tried it before, that would be worth picking up. Now, if it was $50 and it said, aged at least 6 months and it was 90 proof and or 85 proof even or whatever, and it says it was sourced in Tennessee or
I would run.
which I don't have anything against Dickel. They're the main one sourcing, especially when it's 8 years old and over. But I'm not paying $50, $80, $100 for 1-2-year-old Dickel juice.
Right.
I can go get 13-year 100 proof for $30 or $40. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm not. So anyway, it's stuff like that I look for personally.
I look at the proof.
That's the first
We
thing she
all
looks
know
at.
You're a proof hoe.
Proof whore.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a proof whore too. I really like
Here's to
the
that because it doesn't taste good unless it's high proof,
She's drinking my high proof Infinity blend right now.
and it's amazing. It's
Ooh.
really good. I had a couple drinks of that one that what was it, Weller Special Reserve, and it was all right, especially after everything. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, it's just not as good.
But it
So
didn't
if
make
you
it
guys have
better
your
at all.
samples, minus David, because we don't care about him, Um, we can try
no,
that.
we
and
care
that
about
will-
you. The post office doesn't care about you.
Damn sure.
Sorry.
UPS.
Oh, UPS.
David is in a brand new house though, like in a brand new development.
So you might want to reach out to UPS and give them their address. My father-in-law had to tell Domino's and Google to put them on the map so that he could get pizza
Yeah,
and other things.
That's
I
an
had
important.
to call Chase Manhattan Bank and tell them to put me on the map.
what's that, Jim?
It's important to make sure they have your address so you can get bourbon,
Exactly.
Right? I mean,
Exactly.
right?
and speaking of California, I know you were saying that it's hard to get bottles. I had to, I don't want to say smuggle because I wasn't there, but California will ship anywhere inside California, at least some places.
Right.
So I have friends in Southern California. That's where I grew up. And I said, hey, can you break the law for me? Here's a label. Just slap that on and send it on. It was in the Bay Area. They had a
OBSQ.
I was going to say OE, but it's OBSQ of Four Roses. And that was the one bottle we didn't have. And I spent, I'd say like 2 months looking for an OBSQ.
Wow.
I kept calling. David's got one.
And it's delicious.
Where's it
Damn.
from?
It's so it's a store pick here in Indiana. It's 9 years, 7 months.
When was it available?
I got it earlier this year. It's
Okay.
it's 112.2.
And you
Cheers.
didn't even call me.
For the record, I actually tried to send you a bottle of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof because that's the kind of guy I am. But Tennessee is not in the 21st century at this point.
No,
they're stuck.
they're
with-
not.
Prohibition
You're
era.
way far back.
They're in like the 19th century. They're not even at the 20th century yet.
No. Have
They
you
won't even
heard of
play-
the internets? I don't know about email. I have had the customer tell me that. And I'm like, oh,
I had a customer tell me, I'm on the internet, but I don't have my email on this computer. What email do you have? Gmail. Okay.
Do you have a web browser? I got the AOLs.
Yep.
That's right.
My dad still uses an AOL address.
Your mom still pays for email.
My mom pays for her email address. And if you guys are watching, I love both of you. Please don't hate me.
Nice save, Aaron.
Right.
If you watch the show from time to time.
Did you guys get to pour that?
Yep.
I am really excited about what you might have to say about this.
I'm really interested.
Is
to
that
hear
what it is?
it.
Ooh,
That was right down in there. For
can you
sure.
underhand it to me?
I was going to share with you.
Oh, no, that'll work.
That's a beautiful color, Jim.
Yeah.
So
it's a good
when you
color.
get your samples, you'll just be that much more excited, David, because you're gonna already know what.
David
it is.
already knows what it is.
Oh, you were nice
No,
enough to tell him since he didn't get his bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. At least there's
Kyle's-
something.
He was
Kyle's
excited
official.
about it.
Oh, good.
Well, I'm excited about it because if it's as good as what I think it probably is, or as bad as I think it might be, my local liquor store has a bottle of it.
Ooh,
There you go.
nice.
So
So Corey, Jim, you guys may or may not have had this yet. I have no clue.
Does not
Probably, but I hope not.
sound familiar to me at all.
Ooh. It
That's-
smells.
That's
Well,
this one.
what's this? It smells pretty too. Is that the one I don't like
That's
the taste
Wilderness
of?
Trail.
Oh,
So
Wilderness Trail.
Kyle, I have a confession that I have to make to you, and I think I told you, but
He's cheating on you.
You may or may not have have caused me to go out and buy a case. It was they were $10 a piece.
That's a
No
steal.
kidding.
Yep. So I bought one bottle originally and got a little bit of flack from our friends at Bourbon Blind Nation. So I went back into the liquor store and I said, "Hey, would you take $100 for a case?" And they said, "Yeah." So I actually scored it for less than $10 a bottle. I got a bottle for free.
Wow.
Nice.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Oh, I felt like Kyle right there.
Mm. Mm.
Really good.
Jim, what are you thinking?
So I already nosed it and tasted it, and I like the taste of it. It's really good. The nose, I'm having a hard time picking out a lot of different aromas. It's just seems really tight, but it's good. You know, I get some cherry and some vanilla, obviously a little oak on it, and that's really all I'm getting right now. I just need to spend a little more time with it, I think.
Corey, what do you think?
Speechless.
Good. Notes of good.
I always liked that.
We
Right?
we both picked up the cherry. There's something else going
That
on though
is so
too.
smooth.
A little bit of rye spice, maybe.
Yeah, there's definitely rye.
It's a weeder.
Always.
I've seen that happen so many times.
So what'd you say? Thumbs up? Maybe?
Mm.
Thumbs down?
I like this. This is a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Definitely got the spearminty dill thing going on.
A little bit, not much.
Yeah, I'm not getting any dill from it.
No spearmint either?
No,
Oh, I definitely got that.
I smell the
it's oily. It kind of comes on like heavy and sweet.
I do taste the spearmint now that you've said it.
Oh no, there you go.
Oh no.
Subliminal messaging.
Exactly.
I taste it.
I get more spearmint than dill on that when I first tasted it, but I know that everyone's got like a different flavor profile when it comes to that.
Taste the spearmint though. Is this a rye?
It has rye in it. Does that count?
Absolutely counts.
It probably even has at or more than 51% rye.
Really, that much?
How much would you be willing to pay for a bottle? Put you on the spot.
That's always the number one question for anything.
Go ahead, Corey.
I pay about 50 for this.
Yeah, I'm thinking in the 60 to 70 range for me.
Okay.
Well, you guys hurt my feelings.
Uh-oh.
Not really.
Whoa, which one is that?
Batch number 1.
Oh,
Okay,
that's number one. Excellent.
Yep.
I haven't had that.
I like it better than batch 2 personally, but
That's the confiscated.
Wow.
yep.
It's really good.
This is
Yeah, it's good.
The bottle's better, but it's really good.
Batch number 2, it has a lot more cinnamon in it for me. And that's my jam, cinnamon.
Right. For me, batch number 2, just the finish just kind of fell off, and
This one keeps going.
It does.
I mean, it's still going.
they come in pints.
That's immediately what I think of.
It comes in pints. I'm getting one.
When you're a hobbit, you know, you get glasses.
Absolutely. I got
For
no,
me-
I got the reference.
What?
I got the reference. I got the Lord of the Rings reference. 'Cause I'm
David, Moose said your neighbor is sipping your samples right now, loving his new house.
I know it's terrible. The bad thing is that they're in a lawsuit to finish the road. If they would just end the lawsuit, they would have the road finished.
Also in the chat, Bourbon Apprentice, Linux Cat, talked to you earlier today. What's up? Paul Christensen, Moose, Williams, Robot Scott, Kenny Fontenot, Pete McNeil, of course, DJ Beacon, Dark Meat Chicken, Steve A. Steve A. was waiting early, man. He was getting settled in, getting his drink on.
Sorry, it took us so long to get on. I caused technical difficulties. It was the Aaron factor. I'm so sorry.
So, anyway, on to the next topic of flavors and everything else. Where does flavor come from? Aaron says everywhere. So, Jim, this was your question.
Yep.
what's kind of rolling around in the back of your head of why what brought that up?
So I read a review, and I can't remember the bourbon that they were drinking, and it was there was a lot of corn in it, and they were talking about how the sweetness came from the corn. And I thought about other reviews that I heard where, for example, like this with the rye or wheated bourbons, and they talk about the flavors that they're getting as a result of those grains that are in there. And people, the corn was the big one for me. People say it's got the sweetness from the corn, and I've never really thought that. And I've had a lot of corn. Well, actually, right here's a corn whiskey. So it's all corn, and there's literally no sweetness to it. So I think there's a lot of thoughts out there. I mean, certainly rye is going to be spicy, kind of, but I think people think about various flavors that come from certain grains, and I'm not quite sure personally that it comes from those particular grains. I think there's a lot more that goes on. I think you pick up a lot of flavors from sweetness, and actually I think a lot of flavors that you pick up are from the yeast that they're using when they make the mash.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what grain that's in there.
When we were at the Bourbon Festival, we got to learn about the barrels and the charring and the toasting, and how they can literally tell by the way they char the barrel and the way they toast them and what degree they do it at, and a whole bunch of other scientific and chemical properties.
Yeah.
That the flavor profile of that barrel, just by taking some sort of I want to say some sort of spectrometer,
mass
to
spectrometer.
it, right? And
Sure.
Those flavors pop out, and that was just unbelievable, the amount of chemistry and science. I mean, yeah, you think of the juice, but the amount of scientific knowledge that just goes into toasting a barrel, and that was
insane.
the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. I just wanted to sit there and listen to the dude forever.
Jim,
Oh,
I think you saw that video, didn't you? Did you
I'm
see
sorry?
that? Did you see that video that we put up
when you guys were down in
New Orleans?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
It was like the seminar kind of one.
Yeah.
Coolest stuff.
absolutely.
So, yeah, I understand the corn thing, but you have to wonder on how much goes into the toasting. The yeast definitely would affect it. You can definitely taste it from
We'll just look at Four Roses.
Yeah, well, distillery to distillery even. I mean, I used to be able to. I can't do it anymore, but I used to be able to almost pick out Wild Turkey just because of that definite taste.
In that case,
Absolutely.
it's also quality of the grains in that case.
Yeah.
Non-GMO for them, and they're sourcing their rye from Germany because of the quality.
Yeah, there's visiting a lot of distillers and stuff. I would say the mass majority of them use like non-GMO ingredients, and getting them from really respectable people and stuff. Because I mean, there's a lot riding on that. For me, I would probably say, and I'm not a master distiller by any means, but I would say as far as flavor comes from, just from the research I've done and talking to other master distillers and the people at the barrel house and everything, I would say a lot of the flavor comes from the barrel.
Yes.
And then the yeast, and then the mash bill.
Agreed.
I like that one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you get, was it Pennsylvania rye, Maryland rye? Like it has a lot of that dill kind of minty flavor, like
Rittenhouse,
or I was thinking Willet, like the Willet family estate bottles. I mean, they're just straight up dill.
Really?
They are. At least their rye tastes really, really delicious.
Yeah, they're rye anyways. But I mean, you look at a lot of different distilleries, and a lot of them, their mash bill is usually within like 5% of each other. The amount of corn and rye that they're using.
Yeah.
A lot of them are in that 15% rye category with 5 to 8% malted barley, and the rest being corn. There's a couple of them that use a really high rye mash bill, but you could pick out 5 different distilleries that all use really similar mash bills, but they all have their own yeast.
Yeah.
So obviously that influences it. And then the barrel and how they order the barrels from the cooperage, some of them are air dried outside in season for like 5 or 6 years before they get toasted and then charred. So I mean, there's a lot of, a lot that goes into those barrels, and I think that has a lot to do with it.
I would say another factor is where you're what you're coming off the still at too.
Exactly.
If you're coming off the still at 160, you probably burned all the flavor out of it. But if you're coming off the still at say 120 or 125, you're going to have a lot more flavors there. I mean, it holds true for a steak. You don't get it well done, right? You get it medium rare.
Right.
And if you
You
get it
ask
well,
those people who get it to well done to leave.
Yeah, I was going to say that because when it's coming off the still, you've got various cuts. They refer to it as cuts, and you have heads, hearts, and tails, and there's distinct flavors between each one of those cuts. And so Four Roses, as an example, I love Four Roses. It's oftentimes a lot more floral, and if you've had, there you go. If you've had a spirit that has more of the heads in it, it's a lot more floral. And then as you get down into the tails, it's a lot heavier. There's more oils in it, and for me, it tends to be sweeter. So I think literally the same grain, whether it's corn, right, it doesn't really matter. It's a question of how the distiller is actually distilling and cutting the spirit, and then putting it into the barrel.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
All you gotta do is look at Wild Turkey. That's
Exactly.
what you need to look at. One mash bill and all those expressions.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously a lot of it too, and it goes back to the barrel, but the rick house and where it's stored.
Sure.
You know what I mean? If it's stored way up top, it's going to age a lot faster, and I think sometimes hotter than stuff that's at the bottom that ages a lot slower, more mellow, more rounded. Yeah.
I'm sure the water from the top is coming in and seeping into those barrels, right? So,
But I mean, even if you look at, again, a perfect example, Four Roses. So real quick, Steve said, so the mash bill and yeast both definitely make a huge difference. Four Roses is a poster child here. And the barrel composition, toast, char levels is big too. Also, Maker's Private Select, which is all basically just you're messing with the barrels at that point and the staves. So Four Roses, you can have say like 2 OBSQ bottles, or from 2 different barrels. Okay, they use a single story rick house, so there's minimal difference between top and bottom. Hopefully, Jim pops back in. And so you're talking about the same mash bill, the same yeast. A lot of it's the same kind in the warehouse type deal. But one of them can be, really heavy on, fruitiness and floral and everything. And then the next one you get is the complete opposite of it, and they could even be, put right next to each other in the rick house. I don't know if you guys, I know David, see Bryant on bourbon. He's been on a few times. He's a huge Wild Turkey guy, and we each got a Russell's Reserve barrel that was literally, there were sister barrels next to each other in the warehouse. So you're talking, same mash bill, same yeast, same rick house, same aging. I mean, they were, for all intents and purposes, identical, and they tasted completely different from each other.
yeah, I've heard Jimmy Russell talk about it all the time. About it can even come down to where the staves were made from in the tree. Whether it was the bottom part of the tree or the middle part of the tree or the top part of the tree. And like you said, I mean, they are so structured. They do everything the same all the time, and have been for years and years and years. I mean, they're still sourcing corn from the same person they were 40 years ago. So,
right.
yeah, when you get down to it can be a certain part of the tree. It's insane how many flavor profiles can be out there. It's bonkers. Which to me, when when you extrapolate that to what Four Roses does, it's bonkers.
Oh yeah,
Exponentially.
yeah. I mean, you talk about all kinds of different
When I
variations.
first started learning about all this, and I saved Four Roses almost for last because I was like, that's got to be a mess. It has to be a mess. There's
It's
all
organized
many
chaos.
So many
these
variables.
mash bills.
Delicious organized chaos.
It really
Yes.
is because, and they've been doing it for so long. What you realize is that they've been doing it for so long. When they start to pick out their single barrels, even for people to select, it's the cream of the crop. So they have figured out what it is that stands out, and they do everything
Yeah.
so well.
Nice pop.
For sure.
I am a big fan of the Four Roses. I used to
Um,
drink the Yellow Label religiously when I first started drinking bourbon. Like that and Maker's Mark were probably two of my favorites. And then I tried Wild Turkey, and for me, that was the wow moment. Where up until then, I just thought bourbon was bourbon. Bourbon's bourbon. It's the same. Doesn't matter who you're buying. And
You
then
sound like a Scotch person. Bourbon's bourbon. They all
Yeah.
taste the same.
it's funny because when I first started drinking whiskey, Scotch is what I started with, and I realized it was going to be way too expensive to do, so I stopped and moved to bourbon.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah.
And when when Wild Turkey hit my lips, I was like, okay, game changer. This is all different, all of it, and now I
Yeah.
have to try all of it.
I must explore everything.
I really did,
Um,
and that was like 2011, and I just started going nuts. I went to KNL's website and started buying all kinds of stuff.
Call them up, just say, give me one of each.
Yeah, I mean, I looked back on it the other day, and I had an Elmer T. Lee in 2011 that I purchased from them for $24.99,
Nice.
That'll work.
and I
Um,
doubt I appreciated it as much as I would today.
But no, I mean, I'm with you. You know what I mean? For me, Four Roses and Wild Turkey. I mean, that's my jam right there.
Yeah,
So hey, Jim's back.
I lost my connection.
I had a Wilk Family Reserve from back then that I drank, and I remember thinking, "That's fantastic." Instead of thinking, "Go buy more," I thought, "What's next?"
Right.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, if you had stocked up on all the like the Willet, 15, 20, 27 year
Yeah,
stuff. I mean,
that would have been the smart move.
man, you
got
could have been
some cash,
retired by
right?
now.
Yeah, that would have been like buying Apple in 1980.
Yeah.
No, I remember. Come on.
Pull it.
Oh, there it is.
I thought I lost the connection for a minute.
Jim's going, oh shit, where'd they go?
We're all waiting.
So, where was I going with that? Something about Willet and
Retiring.
Retired. Yeah.
So I totally lost my train of thought. I don't know where I was going with that.
I was waiting and I saw the hamster and it fell off the wheel with the top. I was like, I don't know where you're going with this. I can't help you.
Kyle, you talked about how barrels that are right next to each other in the Rick House can taste completely different. Our store here in Indiana did that with Buffalo Trace, just regular Buffalo Trace. They said, we're going to take 3 from a wooden Rick House and 3 from a concrete floor Rick House, and they had 3 sister barrels from each, and it was amazing how much different each of those tasted from just barrel to barrel. One was a huge tropical fruit bomb, one was a huge caramel bomb. And then one was just a really good in between. And one tasted exactly like Blanton's. I mean, it was unbelievable how different they are, given the same mash bill in theory.
In the same area, same place.
Same area, right next to each other.
It's like siblings.
That's
Sometimes,
right.
Someone in the Bourbon Blind Nation Facebook group earlier today was asking about, do you think certain certain expressions from the same distillery is worth extra money. And so say like Four Roses, small batch, and single barrel.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
So, is the single barrel worth the extra $20 over the?
Yes.
Well, we all know that answer. But no, I mean,
label is for mixing.
there are those people that, well, the yellow label has the exact same stuff in it as the 2018 130th anniversary edition. So, it's all the same bourbon.
So go watch our live. Where last week when we, my answer would be go watch the live we did last week with before. Was that last week? When was that?
That was on Monday.
Oh, it's been a long week. Where we talked about Four Roses and hands down, the yellow label just isn't.
It's just not there.
Good. Well, I mean, it's not bad. I shouldn't say it's not. The proof's
It's a
not
good
there.
mixer.
Mix it with something and don't feel bad about it.
Let's think about the price it costs. It's
Right.
It's cheap. It's not bad.
No, I mean for a mixer,
there's
it's great.
there's good bourbons that are cheap out there.
Absolutely.
Or yellow rose. I'm a Four Roses girl,
I'll
but
take
yeah,
101 all day
That's
long.
my jam. That's my
all
jam.
day long.
But yellow label Four Roses is not one of them in my book, and it's
But
really
the small
sad.
batch is superbly better.
I would take the small batch over most of the other bourbons.
So my neighbor a few doors down is just now getting into bourbon. They may be watching. What's up, guys?
Did you tell them we were going live?
They're in the group.
Okay.
And they had originally tried the Four Roses yellow label, and they're like, "Oh, we don't like Four Roses." And I was like, "What did you try?" And they're like, "Well, the $20 whatever." And I was like, "You should really try something else because it's it's totally different."
And it's amazing. It's one of our favorites.
Jim, what do you think of that? WF,
This is the Kentucky Owl,
yeah,
and it's
Kentucky Owl or Willet?
no, I put that to the side. This is the
Oh, okay.
Kentucky Owl still, but it's interesting. We were talking earlier, and now that it's sitting in the glass and it's breathed a little, it's changed completely. And I'm curious what Corey thinks about it. I mean, this is amazing.
Which one?
The Kentucky Owl that we had earlier, the sample. It was just sitting here for a while and breathing, and it changed a lot just sitting here in the glass.
Whoops.
Oh, well.
It's
My
really
kind of
not
answer.
just
I
as-
do have a third of the sample left. So I can pour it and let it sit for a while. So I will do that right now.
What is this?
The
I
Willet.
liked it too much right away. So I just
That's pretty. So if you haven't tried Wilderness Rye, you really should.
The Wilderness Trail.
I've got a lot of that in this area, and I've passed it up, and I got to be honest, it's just a square bottle and a label, and I thought, I never even looked at it. It just didn't seem legit, but
Meh.
Yeah.
The bourbon it's good, but the rye, if you like rye, is pretty phenomenal.
it was funny because I'm looking forward to buying the Cornerstone Rye until I read Rare Bird 101's review on it.
So I'm going to go back to that. I went back to it a week or two after I had bought it, and it definitely opened up more. So after another couple weeks, I'm interested to see what it does.
I'm going to get it no matter what because I mean I got to
Yeah.
keep the collection of Masters keep going because FOMO. So
Right.
exactly.
Because why the hell not?
yeah, pretty much.
No, just them.
Look what we got. Kyle keeps clicking it, and everyone can see what it is. Everyone knows what it is, but I'm not showing it. He keeps clicking it every single drink.
Oh, so that's probably
click,
really loud on the
click.
mic.
Yeah,
No, I'm not hearing that.
Okay.
Well, now that
driving me crazy.
So anyway, these guys all got a preview of the challenge coins that we have that just came in and they got shipped out
You know what? Also, you didn't realize
before.
you also have a handy little coaster.
Hey, look at that.
You didn't even realize that.
It turned out fantastic. You did a great job.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
Well worth the time.
Simple yet elegant. That's what I was going for.
much like you.
Sir, I am anything but elegant.
Hey, look, you make a coaster. It like holds it. Voila.
Boom.
Nice drop.
Like
Better than I know.
proof there.
Which one's that?
Jim, which one you got?
That's the 519. I've heard so much about it.
It's really good.
Really?
And I have the 119 that I'm going to compare it against.
So if Nick's in the chat, I am so sorry. There's the A119. We had the special. He had contractors in his house that helped him themselves to his bourbon.
Seriously?
Opened-
Over 3 weeks, 9 bottles gone.
That's
Oh my
fucked up.
God.
That's fucked up.
Elijah
And they didn't just take it, like they drank it.
That's fucked up.
I mean, we're talking about Joseph Magnus, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof,
the A119.
a whole bunch of different store picks.
Willet Antique. And so, like, all these bottles are coming up, and he is just smoke is rolling out his ears. And I'm like, wow, we're talking about all the bottles that Nick doesn't have.
So
Top does not even begin to. Oh, I'd be so mad.
I mean,
it couldn't have been any better timing because you see all the bourbon behind me. Right now, I'm having my house completely painted, so I had to take my bourbon off of where they're going to paint next to, and I put it on my table. I just moved it off of here for this, and I was so worried that bottles were going to be missing or they're going to be drank, and fortunately, that didn't happen. But Nick, sorry, brother, man, that sucks.
I'm sorry, man.
that's terrible.
So the guy that's doing it is supposedly a family friend.
Oh shit!
I was like, dude, that's not. And originally, when they first started, he gave them 2 bottles. He gave them like an Eagle Rare and something else. He's like, hey, just appreciate you guys, and gave it to him. And apparently, that was just
Licensed.
word
Yeah,
for.
Don't feed the
Oh,
animals.
Oh, my bourbon.
Don't feed the animals. That was fucking stupid.
So
Right?
and apparently, he found out that just right before we went to dinner with him and his wife earlier, and they were taking the empty bottles and literally just throwing them in the tree line.
So if you're looking for your Joseph Magnus,
I hope it wasn't Joseph Magnus. I do.
we're not sure yet. I'm sure he knows now because I'm sure that's the first thing he did when he got home is
Oh,
find
yeah.
that out. And we haven't heard a text message yet.
Yeah, he was really mad because it was like the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof and a bunch of other stuff. And I was like, "What about your Joseph Magnus? Was that in there?" And he just gave me this look like, "I didn't see it in there."
Oh.
So, yeah, so he was having a rough night, man.
And now I'm sorry, I shouldn't even have brought it up, but seeing all the bottles that I know are not there, and I'm like, oh, well, yeah.
It's one of those things like I
Hey, didn't you used to have a birthday bourbon?
right.
Right. Where'd the
Like,
pappy
hey
go?
man, my bar is open. If you want
Oh,
anything,
come on.
just let me know, and you're more than welcome to it. However,
Right.
you're not just welcome to come in and drink 9 bottles of whatever the hell you
Oh,
want.
they pop tops, they pop corks, they really did.
Oh
know
yeah,
it.
like it wasn't even like just open stuff either. Like
Oh, seriously?
yes, like unopened bottles, and now they're gone, empty.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah. He's gonna pay for that.
yeah. I was like, we would be having some real strong words.
You know what? It was probably karma for how he obtained the bottles.
Is there something I need to know? Did Nick take our bottles? Like what's
So speaking of bottles and bottles missing and everything,
Well,
what? Sorry, I was going somewhere else with that.
squirrels? They're
No,
everywhere.
I worked in a real nice transition, and then I realized that's not what the question was. So
Squirrel.
we're just going to bring it out. One of David's question was bottles that you guys want to see reviewed on the show. Is there anything that you want to see us review on the show?
Yes,
I
please.
do, and I already stated it, and you already put it on the list. So I will wait patiently
Wait,
for it.
what is it?
But John J. Bowman Singletary.
Aha. Yes.
I think we know where Pete stands on that one.
Right?
Man.
And that's Buffalo Trace juice.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
aged in Virginia, I think.
Distilled in Virginia and then aged in Virginia.
Right.
Yep.
They took Buffalo Trace juice and redistilled it.
And then aged it. And then sold it.
Yep.
And it's fantastic.
Is
That is-
it good?
Yeah.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
What's the proof on it?
It's about 1.5.
Let's get to bed.
Proof all.
Oh,
It's 100.
100.
Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I have a problem with Buffalo Trace, not because of anything else, but their whole corporatized, creating more mass paranoia and FOMO and all the rest of their stupidity. Like, I'm just so over them.
Yeah.
They're the Disneyland of bourbon in my book, so I try not to support them much. But if it's good,
That said, they have some fine bourbons.
oh, they do. They do. But this allocated shit needs to go.
So Drayman says Cooper's Craft 100 proof.
red flag, red flag.
Don't get me started on
No.
unallocated items.
No.
Really?
Red flag.
Yeah, Corey had a hell of a time with his local big box store of whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
no.
there for some of it, so it was.
Yes.
It was.
Grandman said Cooper's Craft 100 proof. Pete said John J. Bowman. Mood said New Booker's one country ham.
New Booker's Country Ham.
I knew Aaron was going to be all about that.
It's like ham. What?
Right?
Yeah,
That's the third release.
I can't. I don't know if I can even drink that.
Shut up.
William said, "Who doesn't love Disneyland?"
I love Disneyland. I can tell you all sorts of stuff about Disneyland, but the rat is really, really evil. So sort of like Buffalo Trace. They're really, really evil. They make great product and they jack it up to sky high. They pump smells at you at Disneyland to make you happy.
Right.
And oh yeah, I mean I love Disneyland, but I at the same time I hate them.
Aaron will have to have an offline chat because I'm a huge Disney World fan.
I haven't been to Disney World. I can tell you everything about Disneyland. I used to have a pass that got me in there 365 days a year. And my brother used to give tours when he was 3 and tell you where all the hidden Mickeys were. And it was
Aw.
You want some of that?
sure. Who's going to turn down the new riff?
So I
Got a bottle of the bottled and bond today. I haven't tried it yet.
Of the new riff?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
you
good.
should.
It's good.
I have the single barrel. I want that.
And you said it's a single barrel or is it the one off the shelf?
I have a single barrel, and then I just got a bottle of the bottled and bond.
The bottle and the bond is amazing.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet.
I've had some meh bottles of single barrel and I've had some like delish bottles of single barrel. So hit or miss on the
My
single barrel.
single barrel was nice. When I opened it, I'm waiting to try it again.
Okay. Let it breathe a little, see if it changes.
I've had it happen. I was just telling someone earlier today about the Diamond Anniversary. When I first bought it, and I opened it, poured it, and I drank it, and I was like, "Really? This is what they did for Jimmy Russell?
Really?
Horrible." And then I tried it 3 weeks later, which was just this last weekend, and it was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And I don't know if it was just my palate had changed, it was different that day, or if it was just oxidization.
I will say, for me, a lot of times, some bottles open up quite a bit, some don't. I have had 1 or 2 that got really bad after they were opened,
Interesting.
when they were phenomenal as soon as they were opened. But just like Jim was saying, that Kentucky Owl Rye. Do you still have any of that?
I do.
It's been sitting for a while now.
It's really good.
Has it changed even more since the last time it changed?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
was very
really
clean.
good. I mean,
I just hear that price going up.
yeah, comparing it to the Willet, because the Willet's good, but it doesn't compare. Not at all. It doesn't have the concentration that the Kentucky Owl does. That's really good.
I just think the Kentucky Owl is super complex. I mean, there's
It is different now.
really well balanced, but I mean, there's a lot going on in there.
No, and that's so interesting. I completely agree. But when I first opened it up and tried to sample, everything seemed tight. But as it breathed, and right now it is very complex. And you want to spend half an hour just getting into it and seeing what it's got. And so
So,
That's
do you
been
guys know Ralphie?
No.
He's in Scotland, I think, Scotland or Ireland.
Oh yeah, I do. I've seen him
Yeah, he's been doing whiskey reviews since like I don't know, I was a kid.
forever. Yeah.
Yeah. And what he recommends is
Since last year.
for every year old, give it at least 1 minute in the glass.
Interesting.
So if it's an 11-year, give it, about 10, 11 minutes. If it's a 20-year, give it about 20 minutes in the glass before you even get into it, just to let it open up.
So that rye really hit me in the face.
So in the same vein, how many times have you had just a little bit of whatever, spirit, whiskey, rye, whatever, in the glass? You put it, and you went to bed. You put it on the sink or whatever, and you got up the next day, and you saw a little bit in there, and you thought, all right, I'm going to give it a try, and it totally tastes like shit. There's nothing there,
I
right?
do that.
You all have. You all have.
That's all it took for me was once.
Nope.
Right? So, I mean, that clearly tells you that.
Would.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh. And I leave wine glasses and I leave beer. I leave everything.
She'll go back to a wine the next day. I'm still on the couch. Oh, look at that.
Exactly.
I can do that too. It was just fine.
So it completely tells you that, from the time you pull the cork versus, many hours later, there's a dramatic change. And that's something that I think everybody needs to think about in terms of when they want to drink it. This Kentucky Owl, I've heard a lot about it. And number one is everybody says it's great, but when I first had it, it seemed really tight and there wasn't much to it, but now it's unbelievably complex. There's more flavors than I can think about. And it's very good. And it's just been a half an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah, about that.
20, 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I will say you guys have gotten the last little bit.
We love you.
But it's one that I really, really enjoy. And I figured you guys would enjoy it as well. So,
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank
cheers
you.
to you guys.
Cheers right back at you.
Cheers.
I might be switching to beer. Dram Man says, never drink leftover glasses. You never know what's in there. Speaking from experience. Well, if you know the people in your house and you trust the people in your house, you can probably get away with that. But if you're living with multiple roommates or anything like that, if that happened back in the military, you don't leave your friends behind. You either finish the glass or you dump it. And because I wouldn't trust my glass not to be tampered with back then.
So yeah, or even if you just take a glass that you just had something in, as soon as it's empty, give it just a minute or two and go back and smell it, and it smells completely different.
Yeah.
All I can say is Dixon definitely knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's good.
Also, speaking of flavors, I have found that what you eat and your mood will change the flavor profiles of things.
And even who you're drinking with.
I haven't had that one.
So, I mean, just your mental state. If you're with people that you're happy around,
I had a really bad night one night.
Tastes fantastic tonight.
Then you're having a great night.
So, taste that.
I'll hide the coin.
You flashed it.
I did, but you can't see. See, look, it's right there, along with my pretty black nails.
So this is something I made up last night.
10.
10.
All 10 recipes.
Really?
You know what?
Yep.
Much better than Yellow Label. Hey.
Of course it is.
It's all barrel proof.
We all know what I drink.
I
It's
love
actually really good.
I love some room in there. It definitely tastes better than it did last night. I'm gonna taste it in a week or two and see where it's at.
Exactly.
Only
And
I know that can do all 10 recipes in one bottle.
That's interesting.
Kylo's my hero.
and then from there, I'm gonna try and kind of fine tune it, and hopefully I don't screw it up blending it. But
Little bits.
one thing I've learned with blending is 1 plus 2 does not always equal 3.
Absolutely.
So there's definitely an
1 plus
art
1
form
equals
to it.
3.
Like you said, Dixon Deadman is He is definitely a master blender.
I mean, it's all about figuring out what's missing. Is it the finish? Is it the middle? Is it the beginning? What is it that's missing?
Right.
You just add Bookers to it and it'll be fine.
We do know how you feel about Bookers.
Aaron said this is a little bit on the sweet side. How we fix that is we take that and we throw that out and put some Bookers and pour it in. Oh, look, it's fixed.
Boom.
Just like that.
Is that the 30th anniversary, Kyle?
What's that?
Was that the 30th anniversary bottle that you just pulled up?
No, he made it.
No. I thought he grabbed a bottle of book.
Oh, no, that was New
my
Riff.
bottle of New Riff.
Oh, okay.
It was there. There's
There's the
Bookers back here.
Bookers. Yeah, and our silver. If somebody knows where our silver
Shiny barrel.
there we go. If you know where our shiny barrel has run off to, please.
We
tell
still
us
haven't
how
found
long.
it.
Seriously? You haven't found it yet?
No,
That's fucked up.
someone walked off with it. It is not in this house.
I think Nick's Builders came over and. Sorry, Nick.
That was below the belt, Dave. Try and keep the gloves up.
Hey, Jim, how you liking that B519?
You know, it's funny. I'm just trying it. I actually like the 119 better.
Yeah, it's really good. The
The
one
519 is good. There's honestly, and I kept checking my glass to see if it was clean, but there's a little bit of that Dickel flavor to it. It's good. I like it. I mean, it's a phenomenal bourbon, but I actually like the 119 more.
I really like
Oh, that's missing.
From Nick's.
that sucks. Or Nick.
Just keep rubbing salt in the wound. It's just hilarious.
We need to pour one out for Nick.
I know.
It's so
Pour one out for the homies.
There it is.
Leave my glass alone. I better put something in it before Kyle throws it.
Where's the James rye?
I'm surprised we haven't gotten a phone call yet. I hate you all.
So I was watching random side note. I was watching the Whiskey Tribe recently, and they were on top of their 3 or 4 story building, whatever it is, and he threw a Glencairn glass off the top of it. It survived, just like a little bit of the bottom chipped off.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, "Whoa, that was."
Hey, if I tried to do it, it would shatter in a million pieces.
In here.
But I would say I've dropped them off my counter before, and it came down, and it actually dropped onto my shoe, luckily enough, and then bounced out onto the floor. But it was fine. So
I've shattered it.
Really?
At my wife and I's rehearsal dinner, we had it here at the house, and a friend of mine opened up the container that held the Revival in it, and the bottle wasn't all the way in there, so it popped out, fell on the floor, which is travertine tile, bounced 3 times, popped the cork off, a little bit of liquid came out, but the bottle's fine.
There you go.
Bottles are tough. I dropped a
I was-
wine bottle once through a 1-inch glass table. Table didn't survive. The bottle was fine.
I dropped a bottle out of my car in Mississippi, and the bottle
It shattered everywhere. His car stinks.
It's fine now. It smelled like whiskey for a couple days, but
I
that's
don't know
fine.
if that was whiskey. It smelled like a skunk.
Oh, that wasn't
Damn.
related.
So what was that wasn't related?
Skunk.
It must have been Kentucky Gentleman.
Do you keep skunks in your trunk?
You don't?
No.
Got a whole smorgasbord for you.
Pete, that's not funny. Pete says shiny barrel in my shiny bourbon blind Glencairn. Don't tease about the shiny barrel because I had like 2 sips of it and it was amazing and now it ran away. It doesn't.
It is. It is.
Kyle just is gonna have to go buy another bottle. Oh no! Whatever will he do? It's
I
so
had
huge.
like 2 or 3 backups in the car. It's fine. Because promo, right?
That doesn't surprise me.
What were they?
You did a review on them, remember?
Not
When you grabbed the
sil-
ancient age and the ancient age?
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
totally screwed me up. But no, I didn't care
That
about
was
the
my favorite, by the way.
Shut-
That was awesome.
Oh, yeah, I don't have another one of those. Sorry.
Whoops.
He just said he had another barrel. Everyone,
I was
watch you.
still like one conversation ago.
You need to listen because I was like, you're like, yeah, I bought 3 barrels or 3 bottles. I was like, are you kidding me? Where is it? Why are you not sharing?
Did you drink?
No. Who needs water?
Man, I need something else to pour in my glass. All right, I haven't had this one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And now I've had all of them except the Bookers.
Which Bookers?
I think it's Kathleen's batch.
It is 2018-01.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that one.
Yeah,
It's good, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not backyard.
it's really funny.
barbecue.
That was one of the ones that when it first came out, like everyone was going crazy for it.
Yeah.
And then I guess more people tasted it and they were like, oh, it's really not.
It's good. It's still Booker's.
It's
It
not
might-
It's good. I mean, it's good. Yeah.
but it's not the Shiny Barrel or Backyard Barbecue are my favorites.
Kentucky Chew.
Or Kentucky Chew. I really love Kentucky Chew.
Oh, yes.
I don't
I
know.
love Kentucky Chew.
I haven't had that one.
Seriously?
Seriously.
And we liked it so much, he went on a hunt for another bottle and made that happen.
What year and what year and which one is it?
That's 17?
It was last year. Oh,
No.
what was
I
it?
got one.
I believe it's 03.
4 was the barbecue.
No, 2 was the backyard barbecue.
So then-
2 was barbecue.
04 was
There's
kitchen
only three.
table.
Isn't
I
there
believe
one?
03 was Kentucky
Kitchen
Chew.
table. There you go.
Kentucky Chew. Yeah,
The table wasn't bad.
Dude, Booker's has been hard to find around Tennessee lately.
that's crazy.
Funny, you're going to Texas. I'm going to New Orleans, and we'll both be in California soon.
You're going to New Orleans. Maybe you should be a homie and pick Nick up a Elijah Craig barrel proof.
I'll pick him up. I'll pick him up to Joseph Magnus.
There you go.
Well, I'll
I haven't-
crowdsource it.
I'm gonna text him real quick and see if that Joseph Magnus is missing because he is gonna be so pissed.
I'm going to send you some Joseph Magnus that I have, and it's literally the same batch that Nick loves, and I think it sucks.
Oh,
Them's
Really?
fighting. Nick will fight you over that.
No, well, we exchanged some texts on Bourbon Blind Nation, and he's like, okay, send it my way. I'll send it. I just want to send it to everybody. This shit sucks. I mean, it's bad,
here, drink this. Tell me how bad it tastes.
right? I wanted to do a blind and have him say how much it sucks and say, there you go, bitch. It's your Jesus juice, and it sucks.
I thought
Yeah.
it was good. I mean, you opened it was a silver bottle or white bottle, and it wasn't very good. But it wasn't my favorite, but it was definitely that one is gross.
Jim, this is
So-
13-year-old MGP juice right here. This
Yeah,
is
that-
Joseph Magnus single barrel.
Yeah.
Which is not finished.
I don't like
I'll send you a sample.
Okay. Thank you.
So,
Yeah, it's your favorite, right?
so Nick said yes. They are gone, and that's the GIF he sent me. I said Joseph Magnus ? He said yeah, gone.
I would not. I'm sorry, Victoria. I'll get you a bottle of wine. I wouldn't want to deal with him right now.
I feel so bad for him. I do, but I mean, there's
With nothing.
there's
you can
only
do.
so much you can do, but other than laugh, like
You either get pissed off about it, or you take the bottle, you chuck it at them.
Is that the
Or you just slash your tires.
right.
Don't slash
So-
tires because that is actually like a form of I don't know, vandalism. But if you let the air out of their tires, you're not stealing anything.
No. You're giving
Or
them
flat tires, they're not going
engagement.
anywhere.
It's just air.
So Jim, you like the A batch better than the B?
I do. Yeah, I'm going to. I actually have 4 glasses with bourbon in, but yeah, I actually like the A batch better than the B.
Nice.
There's just a lot more going on. The B batch has a little bit of that Dickel flavor to it, and I like Dickel, but there's a part of the flavor that I'm not crazy about, and that's what it has. So yeah,
Gotcha.
I like
Corey
the
and
A.
Heather, what batch of Bookers do you have there?
Oh, this is the Kentucky Chew.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't want a bottle of this.
And
Because Booker's has been hard to find around Tennessee.
That's
I'm gonna
sad.
start having to hit up liquor stores.
Heather's getting in it.
I've got to finish the what do I have? I've got some Kentucky
Kentucky
Owl
Owl,
right now.
the bourbon.
So
Oh,
The confiscated.
Well, bottoms up. What are you waiting for?
right.
I'm nursing it.
That's the way bourbon's meant to be drunk. It's not meant to be chugged.
What's up, Trevor?
Well, you can chug bourbon. You can chug bourbon, but
Yeah,
bottle slam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just-
Only if you're getting paid to do it.
I think everyone did
So-
it in college, right? It won the 101. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't slam.
Okay, so how
I
about
think
how
makers
about how about and this has to do because it's been open for a while, and as we discussed earlier, how it improves as it airs. But Willet pot stilled, aired, bottle chugged.
All gross.
There is not enough
Not
money
enough
in the
money
world.
in the world.
Super
This is
chat.
for you, Aaron.
No. No. For an entire bottle?
Oh,
You die first. Secondly,
Well-
it tastes like shit.
We won't chug the bottle, but
I
So-
mean, can I make whiskey sours with it?
are we raising money? So what's the deal with the super chat?
What about it?
So someone super chats and we'll chug some Willet pot still.
That I won't do it.
Bottle chugged.
I can't.
Honestly, you know what? Here's what you do. You have a charity.
There goes Jim. There goes Jim.
Oh,
Oh,
You're gonna
snap.
get sick. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm not responsible. I hope you put apple juice in it.
Jim. Jim.
God.
Don't die.
We're raising money, right?
I don't know where the money's coming from.
It's it had some air on it. I had one pour before, so it had some air on it. It tastes a little bit. It's got some cinnamon notes to it.
It tastes like a red dog rolled in a trash can. Why would you do that to yourself?
It's for a good cause.
Let's
What?
all say a prayer for Jim's liver right there.
My liver is going to jump out of me and
He's gonna be shaking his fist. What on earth?
boom.
Oh, shut up, liver. You're fine.
Get
Yeah.
back in here.
I think you just get a little more of it and you can deal with it. One little sip and it sucks. You chug a bit and it's all right.
All right, Jim. I don't want you to be by yourself. So
There you go. Boom.
You in the
Right?
morning. Blech.
Oh God, don't do more.
you not.
Kyle, I'm not dealing with him. If y'all
That's
do
not Willet. You got to get some Willet, dude.
Oh, Willet. I don't even have Willet in the house. What are you talking about?
Oh,
Oh, wait.
seriously?
I have the Willet 4-year rye. That's all I've got.
No, that's not bad.
No, it's not.
But the pot still is fucking garbage. Like
I'm
literally
telling you.
garbage.
You get a pour out of it, it's not that bad. It's better. That's what we were talking about earlier. You
still
read
in
a
the
little
house.
bit.
I had a friend buy it for me who knew nothing about bourbon, and they went to Beverages and More and asked for a recommendation.
Oh boy.
And of course, they recommended the pot still. And she gave it to me, and I was like,
Probably because they couldn't clear the shelf.
I was like, oh, thanks. This is
It's a
great."
beautiful bottle.
You're like, that's bourbon.
Technically, it's bourbon.
So
Man.
Pete super chatted $5. He said we earned it. Appreciate you, Pete. Cheers to you.
Oh God,
Here's Pete.
Jim, stop.
You took
Oh,
yeah.
that's,
So,
oh my God, he's gonna chug the whole thing.
well, you better keep going on this, boy. Good God.
We're getting there.
Jim, if you want to go take a leak real quick and puke while you're in the bathroom, I wouldn't blame you.
If I pass out, just call 911. I think, Kyle, you have my address, right?
The dress, right? So Moose wants to know when we're all going streaking. That's
Oh
after
my
There.
cool. Oh,
I'm going to pour a little.
Oh,
you are a
God.
brave soul, Jim.
It's not so bad. You let it breathe a little bit, and it picks up some flavors. I mean, that's what we were talking about earlier. You got to give these guys a fair shot.
You can't fix a wet dog rolling in a trash can.
Actually, I think I said a wet dog with dipping his nutsack in it, but
That's probably a little more
After he
accurate.
rolled in a trash can. God.
Jim, everybody in there thinks that it's iced tea. Based on the look in your eyes, it's not iced tea.
yeah. They can ask me that tomorrow morning.
What are we talking about?
Kyle, I think you got to pump those numbers up, man.
Yeah, those are rookie numbers, brother.
Jim is out drinking him.
I am not dealing with you if you do that. I'm gonna go sleep somewhere else. The kids are not home. If he dies on the floor, I'll find
All right,
him in
Aaron,
the
it's your
morning.
turn.
Not that proof.
It's for science.
It's 90 proof. Lord God, if you're gonna chug something, make it worth your while.
This is 100 proof.
I have to be up in the morning.
This is 100 proof.
She totally is.
Is that the Bardstown, Kyle?
No, that's
No, this is the
Wilderness
Wilderness Trail.
I'm not
okay.
chugging.
Gotcha.
I don't weigh anywhere near neither one of you, but I will.
This is only 126.7.
Oh, that's all?
That's it.
Meh.
Another $5 from William. I need another pour for William.
Oh, and it begins.
He
I
says-
am
he
not
says we
playing
earned
this
it.
game today.
This one's for you, William.
William,
William says we earned it.
I already took a sip.
Thank you, William.
I'm not playing this game tonight. Nuh-uh. Y'all killed me. Actually, yeah.
Jim's getting more bourbon. I love it.
right?
Well, actually, I have a Kentucky Chew open already.
Easily accessible.
Unless you live in Fayetteville, Tennessee.
Uh,
Like,
by the way, the last topic, what was everybody looking forward to buying this year or is still looking forward to purchasing?
Ooh, good question. Good.
Four Roses 2019.
Advil.
yeah. Four Roses.
So
I'll be at the distillery that morning.
I know there's a Four Roses small batch limited edition that's supposed to come out.
Yep, that's the 2019. I'll be there for the release to get a bottle.
That
I
I'm
drank from the bottle, William. All right.
Stone I've been interested in, and then the Weller Foolproof I've been interested in. Those are the three I've been interested in all year.
I'm supposed to do a pick for the Weller Foolproof, hopefully.
Nice.
We'll see.
Nice.
Nice.
So,
I still have yet to go on a pick. That's a bucket list item for me.
it definitely is. If possible, I would recommend against Buffalo Trace, but at the same time, like I wouldn't turn it down by any
I'll go
means.
Wild Turkey to do a pick.
Wild Turkey, Four Roses, and Heaven Hill.
I would love to go to Four Roses and do a pack.
That would be nice too.
Oh,
Yeah, those Four Roses and Wild Turkey are supposed to be like the cream of the crop as far as picks go. Heaven Hill, we had an amazing time there. And I have heard Whistle Pig is like next level type of stuff. Basically, they say you show up, like all you need is a plane ticket to get there, and they take care of the rest. They'll pick you up from the airport. They take you out to their farm. Everything is like catered food while you're there for the whole weekend.
Wow.
wow.
So you show up Friday, and they have a big catered event and bonfire Friday night. Saturday, you go around the farm and taste different barrels and stuff. You do your pick. Saturday night, again, you just drink a bunch of stuff. And
Shit faced.
That works.
yeah, basically. Again, it's all catered all day and everything. And then Sunday, they take you back to the airport.
Excellent.
That is,
Like- That's a hell of a barrel pick.
That is.
yeah.
I mean, and what for a $14,000 barrel, it probably should be.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can afford to do that. I have a Whistle Pig pick. I haven't opened up yet.
Bucket list item for sure. Someday I will go and do a barrel pick. Absolutely.
For sure. David, what are you looking forward to this year?
Honestly, everything's here is so allocated.
Oh,
It's stupid. on how allocated items are here in Indiana. But if I could score a bottle of it, I'd love a bottle of George T. Stagg. But I've never had Four Roses, the limited edition, the annual releases that come out. And that's after trying this single barrel pick. It's the first one I've ever tried. And it's so much better than the actual just single barrel at 100 proof.
Yep.
And I would really love to try the annual release that they have, and it's got me convinced.
Corey, what about you?
I already said.
Sorry. Jim, what about you, buddy?
Will it die still?
I think Stag. Yeah, I went.
Bye. Oh.
Bye.
Oh,
Bye.
Yeah, Stag is that's always at the top of my list every year.
Yeah.
Your computer connection is completely.
your computer connection is drunk.
Yeah, your connection is as drunk as what you drank.
All right, guys. You guys have anything else you want to add?
No.
Drink bourbon.
Drink
Lots
bourbon.
of bourbon.
Blonde.
Drink more bourbon.
Blindly drink.
More bourbon.
You guys here in the video, stick around for a minute. And everyone in the chat, we will see you guys later. Cheers to all of you. Appreciate you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Yeah.
Love.
Well, Erin's running back. She's saying she wants to say bye to everyone.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
We'll see y'all next month.